Howdy everybody, this is Frank Thomas and I'm coming to you this week from Manhattan. It is Labor Day and I am enjoying a rare day off from my work at the US Open tennis tournament. So I thought I would take this day to welcome you back from your holiday weekend and get you ready for the week to come with a Palin primer, if you will. 10 topics that will get you ready to discuss this week politically at Drinking Liberally, out on the golf course, among your friends, and of course between stalls at the Minneapolis airport. Topic number 1, of course, is the 800-pound elephant in the room, and that would be Troopergate, or whatever other nickname you'd like to give it. The rumors and the accusations involving Governor Palin and her sister and her former brother-in-law, and on and on and on and on in Alaska. Basically, the story goes like this. Governor Palin's sister was married to a rather unsavory fellow, and the two of them went through a bitter and contentious divorce with some pretty nasty accusations going on either side. It's probably true that the former brother-in-law may not be a very nice fellow, but what came after that might be a preview of the things we are currently seeing in the Vice President's office and the things we would continue to see if Palin were elected. She and her husband, the shadow governor, Todd Palin, are accused of pressuring the public safety director to fire the former brother-in-law from his job as a state trooper. And when the director refused, Palin fired the director allegedly for failing to fill vacant trooper positions. And then Palin replaced him with a new director of public safety who lasted 2 weeks in the job before he was overcome and forced out by allegations of sexual harassment in his previous job as a police chief in an Alaska city. Meanwhile, Palin is still due to be deposed in this case by the independent investigator sometime between now and Halloween, and the results of this investigation, for good or for ill, are expected to come out between now and Election Day. Whatever the results of this investigation are, it is very surprising to see either of the major parties select a running mate who would be actively under investigation for political corruption in the office that they currently hold. Topic number 2 actually has to do with the Pledge of Allegiance. When Sarah Palin was running for governor of Alaska in 2006, she responded to a question on a candidate questionnaire. Are you offended by the phrase "under God" in the Pledge of Allegiance? Why or why not? And she replied, "Not on your life. If it was good enough for the Founding Fathers, it is good enough for me, and I'll fight in defense of our Pledge of Allegiance." Just to let you know, Governor Palin, the Pledge of Allegiance was written in 1892, and the "under God" phrase was not even added to the pledge until John McCain was a senior in high school during the Eisenhower administration. Topic 3 this week relates to Governor Palin and her relationship with the Alaska Independence Party. She has addressed the convention of the AIP before, and in 2007 the vice chair of the party said that Palin was a member of the AIP before she became mayor of Wasilla in 1996. The AIP's stated goal is to force a vote on the legal status of Alaska with the goal to, quote, achieve independence under a minimal government. Among the choices that party members want in this vote that they felt should have been held in 1958 is either a loose confederation with the United States or even complete independence. Some party members have even discussed secession or becoming a part of a western province of the nation of Canada. While there is no current relationship between Governor Palin and the AIP, it would be informative to know whether she was a member of the party in the 90s or currently, and if she subscribes to or supports any of the secessionist beliefs that the AIP proudly displays as platform planks and on their website. The 4th topic on this week's countdown, everybody's favorite senator, yours and mine, is Ted Stevens. It's going to be very difficult to be politically involved in a state with fewer than 700,000 people, much less be the governor of it, and not have some connection to the under investigation members of Alaska's congressional delegation, Representative Don Young and Senator Ted Stevens. Currently, Senator Stevens is facing indictment, which he hopes to defeat before the election. But Palin served as a director of the Ted Stevens Excellence in Public Service Group, which is a controversial 527 group that was permitted by that section of the tax code to raise unlimited money from donors, corporate donors, individuals, all sorts of other people. And their stated goal was to run a, quote, boot camp for female Republican candidates, particularly in Alaska. Now, John McCain has said that 527s are, quote, a disgrace and they have to be eliminated because they're clearly in violation of the law. Well, apparently so is Ted Stevens. The village of Ketchikan, Alaska is located in a remote part of the southern panhandle of the state. Actually, most places in Alaska are remote to those of us in the lower 48. But the airport that serves Ketchikan is located across a body of water on a small island called Gravina Island, which is populated by about 50 regular residents or so. And the only transportation service to get citizens of Ketchikan to their airport is a ferry service. Thus was born the Bridge to Nowhere. And topic number 5 this week. Palin was against it before she was for it, before she was against it again. When she was running for governor in 2006, she told the people of Ketchikan that she felt their pain when they were called nowhere by opponents of this bridge. However, later on, when the Bridge to Nowhere became an albatross around the neck of anyone who supported it, Palin was suddenly against the bridge, and not only that, but she took some of the federal funds that were gained through the earmark for that bridge and spent them on other projects in other parts of the state, making the folks of Ketchikan feel like they were in nowhere once again. In additional news, money that was appropriated to build the connecting infrastructure that would have helped this bridge serve the island and the city was use it or lose it money from the federal government. So the local authorities went ahead and built the roads that would connect to the Bridge to Nowhere, which is actually nowhere anyway. So now you have a road to nowhere that ends on an empty beach. Topic number 6 may be a short one, but it relates directly to Governor Palin's executive experience, particularly when she was mayor of Wasilla. She is credited with leaving behind a financial and fiscal mess in the city, which we'll detail later. However, while she was mayor of Wasilla, yes, she raised taxes. For a supposed fiscal conservative and small budget, big-time Republican, this is not going to go over well. The 7th topic this week has to do with loyalty. Yes, while she was mayor of Wasilla, Sarah Palin fired the librarian and the police chief, saying, quote, "I do not feel I have your full support in my efforts to govern the city of Wasilla." Both the librarian and the police chief had supported her opponent in the recent mayoral election. Later, after having a discussion, the librarian was able to keep her job. However, the police chief was fired and later filed suit. Both the police chief and Palin agree that she never explained to the chief the reasons for his dismissal, saying only, quote, "You know in your heart when someone is supportive of you." There's also a report that she may have mentioned to the librarian censorship of certain books in the library as a criteria for keeping her job. However, this looks like more of the same. Loyalty oaths, making sure that someone is a loyal Bushy, or in this case a loyal Palin, to make sure that they can keep their jobs.